everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Talking in Bits, where we walk you through Bitcoin bit by bit so that we can help you make the decision that will eventually make you rich. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the podcast. I appreciate you guys. I'm super excited to be bringing Ben Mercedes on, my guy, my investor guy. And what he's going to bring to the show, guys, is genius, first and foremost. But he's going to bring a completely different spin because I could explain to you the technology of it. I could geek out about all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you need somebody who's going to help you make the decision on how to invest in this, how to actually make it, play in your day-to-day life. And Ben, I appreciate you for coming on.
Super happy to be doing this.
Awesome, man. This is going to be fun. So
Absolutely.
You guys expect a lot from us. But this episode, we chose to talk about one of the biggest problems that's affecting every single human being across the world. This is not exclusive to Americans. This is not exclusive. This is just a problem, and it's inflation. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
What's your thoughts on inflation, man? What's the problem?
Your savings account is eroding year by year at the hands of people who don't have your best interest in mind. Central bankers, the bankers, right?
Yeah.
And they serve their own interests.
Yeah.
Right. And who gets the short end of the stick? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's the people who just go to work, put money away, invest as well, but you lose your buying power year after year.
Yeah. Now, when the listeners listening, let them know what eroding means, right? Because this is going to determine the decision whether they listen to what we have to say and invest in Bitcoin or not. Because in my opinion, if they don't think that their money's eroding, they're going to think that things like Bitcoin are pretty much scams or different things like that. So talk to them about the eroding part.
For sure. So Jack Mallard says that everyone operates at a 15 to 20% loss, and that's because your buying power is being diminished day by day. So people put their money in the stock market, they put it in a 401k, they put it in real estate to get a return on their money, to get ahead of inflation and also to invest. But the dollar loses its buying power all the time, every year. And then you add in, 2020, a pandemic year where they're printing trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. And so what does that do to your money in the bank? Well, it's basically burning a hole in your pocket and you don't even know.
Yeah. I like the analogy. It's probably Michael Saylor's, I'm sure, but the melting ice cube, right? Like where it's, your savings account is literally just an ice cube that's sitting there melting over time. That's a really powerful analogy. And I mean, I'm one of those guys, worked a 9 to 5, do all that. And for the longest time, they tell you to save in a 401k, save in savings, do all that stuff. But what the heck is the point of all that stuff if when I get to finally try to enjoy the money that I have accumulated, that money has already been through many hands before mine. So, and then like you said, my buying power sucks. So it makes everything more expensive.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, just look at the housing market.
Yeah.
Like where we are, we're in one of the top 20 markets in the country.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. In a span of a few years, we've seen houses that were $300,000. They're now listing for $375,000.
Yeah.
And then there's a bidding war and they're selling for $425,000.
That's crazy. Yeah. Super expensive. Yeah.
And like it's getting more expensive.
Yeah. Not many people have that in their pocket.
Absolutely. And for the regular person who has, they have a day job, they're learning about investing.
Yeah.
I guess you don't really consider it much, but like again, you're losing your buying power. And when these big assets become more and more expensive, right? The cost of living, electricity, cars and houses, like there's so much poverty created within that. You know what I mean? So again, hedging your bet with whatever it is, stock market, real estate, Bitcoin, crypto, sets you ahead of the path, right? To
absolutely
be financially in the best position that you can be. You know what I mean? Especially in a scary market like right now.
Yeah.
So,
I want you to specifically hit on this point because this is your expertise, in my opinion. When we were growing up, in the areas that we grew up, with the people that we grew up with, investing was a foreign word. Absolutely. I mean, this is, it's crazy when you would tell somebody, hey, I'm going to put my money somewhere and it could grow. And then they'd be like, oh, it's going to grow? And then you'd be like, well, it might grow. And then they're like, it's not going to grow. And then they already just threw it out the window, the idea.
Yeah.
So what would you say to those people if they're listening now? I mean, they're out there. Those are the ones that we're trying to help with this information.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Listen, you got to take risks. You know what I mean? Like that. You have to take risks. You can, scare money don't make no money. You know what I mean?
That,
if you want to sit here and hoard money in your shoebox and hoard money in your savings account at 3%, not even.
Yeah.
Is it under 1%?
Probably is.
What is that?
Yeah.
Inflation's more than that.
Yeah.
That alone proves that you're losing.
You're losing every time.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I mean, you could put your money in BlockFi and get 8.6% on USD.
Yeah.
You can turn your dollar into a digital dollar.
Yep.
That's tied to the dollar. So today it's $1, tomorrow it's $1, and that's how the coin operates. And BlockFi is going to give you 8.6% interest.
Yeah. So the real cool about that, I'm glad you brought that up. The real cool part about that is for anybody who thinks that is really risky to invest, that's a perfect example. Because I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I was like, well, they were, Bitcoin had a rough day today. So they were like, oh, Bitcoin's crashing. What do I do? And I was like, well, do you have it in BlockFi? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, are you really worried that you're going to lose this? Because you won't. And they said, yeah. So I was like, so just turn it into stablecoin.
Right.
And then wait it out and then just buy back in. But, so it's you said it right. Scare money don't make money. I don't see investing any different than leaving my money inside of a DCU account or Capital One account. It's the same exact thing. But once again, for the people that really, we're kind of going ahead, for the people that really don't know about investment, I guess the best way I would sum it up, and please tell me if you agree with me, is it's a vehicle to make your money work faster.
Absolutely.
Is that the simplest way to put it?
I mean, it's a vehicle to make your money grow.
Right. Because a lot of people are scared of that word. I mean, they think about the word investment. They're thinking stock market. They're thinking, Wall Street. They're thinking, which it is, but.
The comfort in it, I mean, and this is what, J.L. Collins?
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Invest in index funds.
Yeah.
The average return on the S&P over, the last 50 years?
Yeah.
Somewhere between 8 and 13%.
Yeah.
Do you want 8 and 13% more money? Then put your money to work.
Right.
If your money's not going to work, then you're not going to get any more money.
It's in the shoebox.
It's simple. It's in the shoebox, and inflation is diminishing your purchasing power.
It's melting.
It's taking money from you, and you don't realize it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yesterday we pulled up we had a stack of old cards.
Yep.
And there was a Patriots ticket from 1995 in it.
Oh yeah.
And at the bottom it had a Big Mac. Little ticket stub, go to McDonald's and get yours. And it's from 1995. How much was the Big Mac then?
I don't know. What is it?
99 cents.
That's insane.
How much is the Big Mac today?
That's insane.
$8.50? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's between $8 and $9.
Oh yeah, I told you the other day, you're not leaving McDonald's under $10. Like you ain't getting no family meal for nothing. You're gonna be $30-$40.
And so across 25 years, right, 1995, you have a cheap, product that we buy, and the price of it has gone up 8 times.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah,
I would assume the housing market probably not 8 times, but
a great deal.
The bigger assets, they've gone from if you paid $100,000 at least around here for a house, in the 80s, that house is now around $300,000.
Yeah, triple,
right?
And its value in a sense,
right? Maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you might get a bidding war at the end. You know what I mean? Where you can get more money. So
the proof is out there. Yeah, that's my defense against investing. Period. But investing in Bitcoin. I mean, I've had a lot of people question why I'm doing it, et cetera, and they may have merit to some of the things they're saying, but the one thing that they can't sell me on is that inflation. Right? They can't sell me that inflation is not happening.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like the reason, whether you think that this thing is real or whether you think it's a scam or whether you think it's a Ponzi, whatever it is, you may have valuable stuff, but you can't tell me that inflation is not happening.
Right.
And if, like you said, scare money don't make money, if I got to jump on this vehicle and take a risk, that's a lot better than just watching my money melt away.
Absolutely.
Would you agree with that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. So Bitcoin is better than stocks. Why? Because somebody would just say, well, I got a 401k. I'm good. I don't need Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, so someone posted earlier, right? So Bitcoin was at $42,000 last night. It is January 11th, right? Yep. We saw a dip down to $30,000. Right. You know what I mean? And it's highly volatile. And in the previous bull runs, you would see like a 30 to 50% dip. Yep. So, I mean, if that was the case, we'd be looking at 20 grand right now. We'd be back at 21 grand, which is still an all-time high.
So great.
At its worst day, it's still better than it's ever been. Yeah. That's how good Bitcoin is.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And these big institutions are here to play. Yeah. And I'm seeing, 120 million just came through USDT on the scanner. Yeah. So that means someone's obviously buying. And it's causing, we were at 30 grand earlier. We're looking at 35.5 right now. Yeah. By the time we wake up, we're probably at 36.5. Right. So it had its worst day over a 20% loss, it's recovered the same day.
That's incredible. And nothing does that. And not in the stock market. The S&P's not doing that. Yeah.
And I posted on a comment, someone was like, oh, here comes the Bitcoin crash again. And I'm like,
yeah,
we just ran up 100%, 20 grand to 40 grand.
Yeah.
And like, do you not expect a little pullback? At that point last night, it was like 12%.
Right.
And then I posed a question. I was like, is that better than your 401k return?
Yeah.
That'll take you
By
how many
tenfold.
years in a 401k?
Exactly. With melting money. So you're working against it. You're running uphill.
Yeah. I think people just don't understand.
Right.
I think if people understood more about like the 401k
Yep.
and just investing long term and just looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I've been getting, 13% a year.
Yeah.
And then you just look at one chart at Bitcoin and it's like 120% this year.
That's the
500% the next year.
I think that's why we're doing this. And I think this is why it works, man.
Yeah.
I think it works because that's the problem. Most people don't understand those options.
Yeah.
They don't understand how to take those gambles. And I think that's where you and I are going to help, right? So, no other vehicle, if I'm not mistaken, now this is why you're here. I don't want to speak all the time, but no other vehicle has done what Bitcoin has done for the US dollar when it comes to investing, at least. Is that safe to say? Not this fast.
I think it's the first time we've seen any investment vehicle
travel this fast.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, with a year like last year of panic and chaos and uncertainty, we're seeing it's reaching more people.
Absolutely.
And because of that limited, coin cap of hard stop on 21 million coins.
Yeah, it's a scarcity thing.
There's a scarcity thing, right? Versus gold, right? They're still finding more gold every year.
Right. Now, funny you should bring that up. I was reading earlier in the book that because the argument with gold, for those of you that are listening, Bitcoin gets mostly compared to gold because of its scarcity and numerous other things, its fungibility, a bunch of different things like that. But I heard something interesting earlier, which goes against the gold argument. I guess there's really dope ashtray technology right now. That's like basically there's gold, there's diamond, there's all these minerals on like comets and pieces of debris that are basically just flying around. Yeah, and you check this out. And the guy was, and this was a Bitcoin book, so it was related to Bitcoin in the sense where the guy was like, yeah, that technology is getting better and better every day, and they're just gonna find more gold, and then that eliminates the scarcity that you guys are leaning on. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is human engineered.
Mm-hmm.
So how often can you those are minerals, Earth made those, whatever, natural made that, but we as humans have put together this crazy, crazy system that has, technical prowess, has security, is super open, it's global, right? We have all these crazy things that humans were able to do, and I don't think people understand that part of it.
Yeah.
Because as we talked about, you gave them an awesome reason why they should invest, and that's inflation. That's what we came here to talk about today anyways.
Right.
But I also understand the people that are like, I just need to understand more about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right. In order to put my money there or whatever. Yeah. And hopefully that's where we can help them out again. And that's what they're here for. But like you said, 21 million.
Yeah.
I like to think, you always tell me it's the gold rush. I like to think about it that way because it kind of seems like it's one of those things where it's like eventually all the land is going to be eaten up.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you get as much land as possible before it gets all eaten up.
Yeah.
But that's for those that don't understand why that's even valuable. Think about something being so rare. I like to use the Mona Lisa example. That's one of my favorite ones. Think about something, rich people nowadays put their money in stuff that's hard money.
Mm-hmm.
And by hard money, correct me if I'm wrong, they basically mean something that's not going to fluctuate. It's not going to lose its value. So old paintings, old cars, whatever it is that they think it's valuable and is going to withstand the test of time. Jewelry, right? Mm-hmm. So Bitcoin is that. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely. I think it's better than that.
For sure.
Because those aren't seeing, in certain cases, you'll see certain artwork go for like just stupid amounts of money.
Yeah.
And then, I think it was Kanye and Jay-Z who took a car that was in one of their videos and then raffled it off at like an auction, donated all the money, and then wrote it off as a tax return. So if they spent, I don't know, 100 grand on the car or whatever.
Yeah.
And if they took in $1 million because of the value they created within it being tied to their name, they just got themselves, each $1 million write-off or something. People just don't understand, taxes, how taxes work, real estate taxes, like what benefits you have if your business is a sole proprietor versus an LLC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the difference between a big COVID loan last year. People were getting 50 grand.
Yeah. Okay.
If I would have did that, I probably would have bought way too much Bitcoin.
Which one got the 50 grand? The LLC or the...
like your LLC would get 50 bands and they'd be like, oh, Jose Burgos, you're a sole proprietor. Oh, we can't help you. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Just paying $500 a year and being an LLC, that makes you a real business on paper.
Yeah.
So we just don't understand these things.
Yeah.
Other people do, and that's why they're, financially...
Argue me on this one. I would think that's because we spend so much, like I said, like in the areas we grew up, we spend so much time trying to make money that there wasn't really much time to figure out what to do with it, right? The thing will come in and it will go out.
I think the way we consume content now, it's a lot easier to learn than it was for our parents. So back when they were learning, it was like, all right, you want to learn about something? My dad had tons of books. He always had books in the living room. He was always, reading about real estate. I remember talking to him one time, and this was what became Alibaba. He was like, "Oh, you want to open a tire shop for cars? Mm-hmm. You go to China. I think he went to a Chinese trade show, and he came back with a ton of ideas. Yeah, and he was like, "Yo, we could do this, we could do that." Mind you, he had like a furniture store at the time and some real estate, and he had a nightclub and a bunch of things, and that's kind of the way it's why I am the way I am. Right. But he came back like, "Yeah, we can get these tires from China. We import them for this, and we sell them for this." Yeah. And what is Alibaba now?
Pretty much that.
It's pretty much that.
Yeah.
But I think we don't understand enough about like business, tax investments, tax vehicles, tax deductions. Yeah. So we just don't. Yeah. We're not able to reap those benefits.
We spend it on chains.
We spend it on other stuff.
And I love chains.
Back to the content thing. It's like, it's really easy to come across financial advice or financial posts or Bitcoin posts now, right? Yeah. Everyone's posting about Bitcoin. Right. So then you look into Bitcoin. Yeah. And then you download an app, and all of a sudden you're buying Bitcoin in a matter of like 10 minutes.
But my thing is this is that, like, all right, say I'm 9 to 5 in it. Getting by check to check. Mm-hmm. Every single penny goes.
Are you setting up a 401k or no? Huh? Do you currently have a 401k?
Sure. Okay. I'm not talking about myself. I'm giving
right.
So right. So the person has a 401k. They have a typical 9 to 5. They put in money, right? So to them, it's like every dollar's already taken up, and they consider their 401k savings, right? Sure. Then Jose and Ben come along and say, "Hey, well, you should take some more of that money you don't got and put it in something you don't understand."
Oh, it's simple.
Yeah.
It's simple. You just say, talk to your 401k, and see if they have a crypto fund. Or see if they rolled out Bitcoin.
Well, what I'm trying to say is not what they should do, right? Sure. You're giving them the advice. So I'm sorry for that. But what I'm saying is they're going to tell you like, yo, I ain't got time to learn and dig into Bitcoin and dig into that. So would you say that's the problem? Is that they don't have enough forward momentum in life?
I think sometimes, I don't think everyone's going to be motivated to invest.
True. But if you got a few extra stacks, that makes you feel more comfortable. To spend time on the weekend.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? To spend time on the weekend actually trying to learn about Bitcoin, right? But if I'm behind on my bill, my weekend got to go to me being out there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's one of those things. I think people run into that problem. Yeah. Is what I'm trying to say. And hopefully we could, guide them there, whatever. But one thing that the message has been going lately, and it's probably Jack Mallers and his PR run that he's going through for the incredible things he's doing with Strike, is that thing of, work pretty, your money pretty much being a storage of your wealth, and if you have it saved up, that's pretty much stored up energy, right? So that's what I'm trying to get at.
It's your time and your energy,
right? So that's what I'm trying to get at. If you find a vehicle like Bitcoin, would be my argument to somebody who doesn't know, that can give you that stored energy, and that can give you that stored time to free you up to not be so, I guess, to be easy grumpy about life. Then that should be a reason to invest in itself,
for sure.
Even if you dollar cost averaging.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you have a 401k, you're scared to trade Bitcoin, you're scared to even buy Bitcoin, just call your 401k provider, right, and see if they have a crypto fund or a Bitcoin fund. Right. My buddy, I think through Fidelity, they launched one, and it took basically Bitcoin's price was like 18,000 when he inquired, and by the time they got it up and running, Bitcoin's price was like 34,000. So it's
that's that bullshit.
And that's what fuels Bitcoin is like, we want decentralization. Yeah. We don't want anybody in charge of our vehicle, our investment vehicle. You know what I mean? So like, dude, it took him 2 months. He lost $18,000, right? Yeah.
While waiting for
people in the way of our money.
Yeah, an old legacy system, right? That is the problem. And another thing that I've told people too is, the argument of you can't you can't explain to me inflation's not happening. That's one of my arguments or whatever.
Nice.
But the other one too is that, you know, it's no different than me giving my money to Fidelity to invest in the 401k. This imaginary,
it's just a different market.
Yeah, this imaginary thing that's happening in the background, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most people that have a 9-to-5 are already doing that, whether they know it or not. They probably signed up for some 401k they don't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that you would more trust something as complicated as Wall Street, as complicated as that whole exchange, but then tell me that it's a bad idea to go into a completely different exchange where you actually hold more power?
It's just the exchange of the future. Right. Yeah. And in terms of Bitcoin, we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's like by the people for the people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Our politicians are supposed to be like that, by the people for the people, and they're not.
Yeah.
Right. And why was Bitcoin created?
Yeah.
Right. I think it just goes to war with that. Where it's just like Russell Okung, he talks about it on Twitter, and he's like, yo, it's about individual sovereignty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even think people grasp that.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
You know?
It's a good feeling to know, and you know, to tell my wife and to say, hey, we don't have to worry about waking up tomorrow morning and the bank saying, nah, you ain't worth 2,000 or whatever it is anymore. It's dug in my backyard, quote unquote. Like
even we've talked about it. Even with the political climate of today, like censoring on social media.
Yeah.
When do they censor you from Amazon?
Yeah.
If they censor you from social media, do they automatically censor you from Amazon?
From anywhere.
Do they censor you from, whatever it is, driving
your own account,
or your own bank account?
Yeah. And we see it, right? You've been frozen out of I've been frozen out of my own account before. You were telling the story about San Diego, right?
I went to San Diego.
Yeah.
Trying to get money out of an ATM. My bank flags it as fraud because why would I be in San Diego?
Because of an algorithm, I'm sure.
Right? Because of an algorithm. It's just probably, X amount of miles beyond a zip code or something.
Sure.
And like, it's just another example of the bank in the way of me and my money.
Yeah.
You know?
So at that moment, the bank was like, nah, Ben ain't worth nothing.
At that point, I realized I wasn't individually sovereign.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're listening and, first of all, do your homework, right? Like, we're not financial advisors. We're just guys that
We are not financial advisors.
We're guys that are maybe risky at best, but we're just educated in this and we like to follow it. It's sort of a fun hobby of ours. But with this information, you have to do what you have to do with it, right? Like personally, who's listening, needs to take chances, take gambles, and be able to store energy, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's much easier to live when you know you're in the positive every day. Like, when we had these big runs, right? We went from 24 to, I'm guessing numbers, but from 24 to 35 probably in a matter of a week, right? So
it was a crazy week.
The thing about
I almost had a panic attack that week.
I'm with you.
That's probably the time it happened.
Well, this is the thing. This is what I was thinking in my head the whole time. Yeah. This is probably and this is what people should take out of most of this conversation. This is the only time in my life where I've actually done the normal shit that I do during the day and made a shitload of money while doing it.
Oh yeah.
And that doesn't mean like physical US dollars. My wealth went up. And all I was doing was washing dishes and doing my basic stuff. That's a vehicle in itself that I don't think the vehicle is the word that I could keep using. It's not often. Like, I've tracked the S&P. I've done a lot of things like that. You're not going to see a few $1,000s increase in your value just for you doing normal stuff. It'll take a long time for that to happen.
Absolutely. I mean, my M1 account.
Yep.
Shout out to M1.
What's an M1 account? Hit me.
It's like, all right, think about investing, but it's like a robo-advisor.
I think you're talking about, okay.
Or like, so you pull up, it's almost like an ETF fund, and you pick certain funds. Yep. What would be the first fund that would come to your mind? Something you've heard of publicly or anything?
Like one company or?
It could be like, you could say big tech or
yeah.
Like, all right, so in my
Yeah.
case, the first thing I thought of was like, all right, Warren Buffett. I wonder if they have a Berkshire Hathaway fund, right?
That one I'm aware of.
I pull up the Berkshire Hathaway fund and what's in there? Coca-Cola, Tesla, all these stocks. And so I stacked him up against 3 other pies, and I think he came in like 4th place with that particular fund. And it's not Warren Buffett has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
It's M1 tracks what's in his portfolio.
Yeah.
They match that in that pie. And then with your funds, you can buy and sell when basically they buy and sell.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so, I mean, if you like military, you can pick defense. If you like technology, you can pick technology. Yeah. You're going to find Facebook, Tesla, all these technology stocks in the fund there. So, it's an easy way to just kind of diversify your money. Like right now in a group chat, people are asking, what's a hot stock for, January? Yeah. And it's just like, if you don't know individual companies, look at what are the top companies, invest money there, right? Apple just announced that 2024, they're working with Hyundai to produce a smart car. What's going to happen to this $130 Apple stock between January 11th, 2021 and, January 11th, 2024.
Right.
Or, whenever they're in production, right? It's probably going to double, triple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all of a sudden in 2021, you've tripled your money doing nothing.
That's important, yeah. Now magnify that times 10 with crypto.
Yeah, the gains with Bitcoin from an investment standpoint is it's
unmatched.
It's unmatched. Yeah. And again, the big institutions are here to play, right? In 2017, Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan was basically saying anyone who's caught trading Bitcoin is fired.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's tough.
Now in 2020, guess what his price prediction is? 146 grand.
Yeah, he came around.
146
they came around,
grand
I should say,
in just a short amount of time. I personally think any big institution, they were probably buying some back then.
Yeah,
they
have
to be. Up until now.
If they were forward thinking, because it was very, it's still misunderstood to this day. And it is very technical. I've gone down that rabbit hole. But the thing with Bitcoin is that it's been proven to be secure, in crypto in general, but Bitcoin and the blockchain has been proven to be secure, which, if for the sake of this conversation, a typical investor needs to know: is my money safe? Is my money secure in this? It's probably the most secure it can be in a crypto account than probably the stock market, because of inflation, because of that money, because the fact that even if Tesla does $1 gazillion and you cash out on that, well, once again, what is the point of having a melting ice cube? You cashed out on lower buy.
You went back to fiat.
Exactly. So I do want people to take those investment tips. Because they do apply, right? It's still investment either way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but the beauty of it is that crypto is in a situation right now, and I want to focus specifically on Bitcoin. There is other ones, but it's at a point right now where if you play ball, you'll be in, dollar Disney stock area.
Yeah,
where people have told me that a bunch of times.
JP Morgan, 146 grand.
Yeah, right.
Max Kaiser, he's been on it since $1.
Yeah, that's insane.
And what does he say?
Yeah,
he's predicting 200.
Yeah, I read today Satoshi mined the first 50 blocks for nothing. They weren't valued at anything.
Yeah, he was taking a loss to put this together for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's give a little bit of that. So inflation is the common trend with Bitcoin, and this is why in 2020 we saw a boom. Mm-hmm. It's not an accident, because people want to store their wealth, right? People want to make sure that if they put $500 into something, it gets better, or it at least stays $500. And the problem that's happening is that it's money's not staying where it's supposed to stay. You're losing value every single day. So I don't think it's a coincidence that, and I may have these numbers wrong. I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there that's going to fact check me. Mm-hmm. Shout me out, fact checkers. In 2008, I believe, during one of the European financial crisis bailouts, the chancellor was doing a second bailout of the banks in that area. So similar to, we haven't got to the point of a bailout of a bank here. Yeah. But it's naive to think that can't happen here, especially when they're printing money like it's free paper. So Satoshi mined the very first block and encrypted inside of that message basically the headline that was in the newspaper, which is that the counselor was going to bail out the bank a second time. Mm-hmm. Right there was the Genesis block. Right there was the birth of Bitcoin. And like you said, he took a loss to do this. Mm-hmm. And we've come a long way. So I think it's very adapt for people that had the year of 2020 to say, where do I put my money, and Bitcoin being the perfect answer.
Listen,
by its inception.
Even if you went through 2020, if 2020 didn't teach you that you need to be investing your money.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I don't know what is going to convince you that you need to wake up and put your money to work.
Somewhere, yeah.
And understand that these people printing money don't have your best interest in mind.
Not at all.
Right? That alone should make you think like, okay, how can I make this grow?
Was it in the not to you ever thought?
No.
Was it in the Bitcoin Standard when he was saying that the fiat system has been tried 100 times in history and failed 100 times?
That book, bro.
That's a really good book.
It's fire.
Yeah.
It's fire. I'm like 80%, 70% through it. He hasn't talked about Bitcoin yet.
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to hear.
Yeah.
I want people to take a historical, global look at currency and how it works, right? Just so they have, again, we don't have that understanding on stuff generally. Right. So I think that just fuels people to, open their eyes to it. But yeah, every fiat has failed. And I think he hints at the people in charge of the money play games with the money. And again, they have the people in charge, they don't feel it when they mess up. We do. And they, they get they get bailed out. Right? Or they have so much money, it doesn't even matter.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I think it's weird to me. He talks about the double spending problem too. Where did you see that part where it's like, If I understand it right, the thing that Jose has $1,000 in his bank account.
Yeah.
Ben says he needs $500. The bank borrows Jose's $1,000 and gives Ben the $500. But when Jose still opens his account, it still says $1,000. So every time this happens, they literally just print. Like, they just make up money out of the air. Like, where did this $500 come from? You tell us that is leveraging Jose's money because he's leaving it in there. But if Jose pulls it out 10 minutes later, you don't tell Ben, hey, give me your money back. And this is where the value of the blockchain is, right?
Yeah.
Because with the blockchain, it's like a tab, right? So it's, I have $1,000. Ben wants to borrow 500. He's going to need to borrow from Jose. And when he does, Jose doesn't stay with 1,000 in his account. Jose loses the 500.
Right.
Just fair exchange. Value to the beginning of time.
And it's verified by how many?
What do you mean?
Like
the whole blockchain,
the transaction, right?
Yeah, right, on the blockchain, right? So all the nodes have to, approve it onto a block, and when they put it on the block, it's official, set in stone. You can look it up like a Google search, nothing hidden.
And with the bank, who confirms that transaction?
They won't even tell you.
To their own benefit.
Yeah,
right. Because they're making money out of it. You know what I mean? So they can leverage as much as they want. I mean, there's a certain amount, but
they could do it as much as they want because they'll get bailed out. Yeah. So
eventually,
it's unlimited to them. Yeah.
Sure.
All they have to do is say it's a crisis, and they'll just. But eventually, the bailouts run away. There's a story, and I think, and we keep shouting out these books, but they're incredible books. Check them out. They'll speed up your knowledge to what you're investing in right away. But Bitcoin Billionaire is more like a fictional book about what happened to like the twins and that whole process in the very beginning of And they were saying a story about I think it's a certain place in Europe, and I forgot what it was called. But basically, to sum it up and not go on a tangent, the girl was wondering why there was a mob outside the bank. The bank was like, her homeboy, one of the guys that was next to her came to her and was like, hey, they were only supposed to be closed for Monday and the holiday, and now they're telling us they're closed for the week. And the girl, being naive, she was like, why?
Cash is trash.
Yeah, she was like, why? And he was like, well, there's a second bailout that's coming. And the bank made an agreement with the chancellor that basically said, hey, you give us 75% of the money, and we'll use the money of our current members to make up the other 25%. So the girl goes on to say, hey, I woke up this morning with $100,000 in my account. They gave me $10,000 back. And that was my life saving. And the reason that they did that is because they needed to bail themselves.
Right.
So what's the point of keeping?
I think
decentralized.
We haven't seen like crisis like that.
No. History has shown us. But
history has shown us.
Yeah.
People don't read history.
No, which is another downfall. You got to read history.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you really got to learn. Listen to books, listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Right?
To really see what's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, America has made it to the point where people just think it's like that.
It's really easy to just live life on autopilot.
Yeah.
Watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Hang out with your family and just kind of, go to work, come home and not.
They've done it very well.
Learn about things,
Right.
Same here.
But this is where, but most of the time is because you think you're stuck in the grind, right? You think you got to, every single dollar has to go to a bill or a debt or something like that. Yeah. And if you want to talk Ponzi schemes, then that's probably the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. The fact that I have to go work and you immediately take a FICA. What's FICA? It's supposed to be my Social Security. Is what it's supposed to be. But it's like 60 off the bat. Then you count the taxes for the state. Then you count the taxes. Wait a minute. And then I can't live because I don't make enough money on a raise to beat inflation.
Yeah. What is it? Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
I read it long ago.
He says the average person works 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Just to pay the government in taxes.
It's insane.
Huh? So not only is inflation getting you.
Yeah.
That's getting you even more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're already at a huge disadvantage.
Right. And you brought up Russell Kung, and the reason he's relevant here in this conversation is because how Mahler spinned it up where it was like, these guys are athletes. And these guys are probably the most abused people on the planet. That's arguable, of course.
Sure.
But the fact that they go out there, they could lose a life, they could lose a leg, they could lose an arm for our entertainment. And then when they're washed up, we forget all about them and nothing ever happens. So
yeah, well, the average sports player, they're bankrupt.
Yeah.
Usually not long after playing, right? Because all they do is consume and consume. So if anybody needs this, you know what I mean? It's especially these guys who have massive amounts of wealth and they go through it in a few years.
Right.
Antoine Walker.
Yeah.
Delonte West.
Yeah. But they were up to fuck shit too. True. But I do know what you mean.
But just in general, you can run out of money really fast if you adopt this high spending lifestyle.
Right.
And your money goes down, but you're still playing that game.
Right.
T-Pain, cash in the Bugatti. because he couldn't afford it. Like, huh?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if you want today's example.
Yeah. So you put your money in a storage of wealth like Bitcoin, gold. There's a lot of them. I don't want to say that there isn't any out there, but you have to definitely make it be a storage item that doesn't lose value over time.
Historically, just look at the numbers. You know what I mean?
Right.
How does real estate perform over the last 100 years?
Right.
Bitcoin, gold, silver. I mean, look at the numbers.
Yeah, right.
That's why these people are trashing Peter Schiff every day. You know what I mean? Like Jason Williams.
Yeah.
Like he's going on air with him, but it's like dudes throw jabs at this guy every day because gold's returns compared to Bitcoin are laughable.
They're not there, yeah.
Right? Do you want, if I said, give me your money and how much do you want back? I explained it to my son yesterday, Giovanni, right?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Giovanni, we were playing CASHFLOW.
Okay.
Right? So he pulled his first card and it was like a small deal. So it was like, oh, hey, the drug OK4U is currently on sale for $5.
Okay.
This stock trades between $5 and $40. You can sell this to another player or you can buy it for yourself, right? So I'm talking to him. He has like $2,000, right? So he's like, well, yeah, I'll give it 100. I was like, all right, you spend 100. How many shares do you get? You get 20 shares and you're in at $5. If this sells at $40, I made him do the math. How much is that, right?
Super dope.
$800. And if it sells at $5, you lose no money, right? But you still had the courage to invest some of your pile of money, right? To escape the rat race in the game, right? And so I was like, he wanted to spend 100, and I was like, nah, how much money you got?
Yeah.
It's like 2,000. He's like, all right, well, how much is that investment? What's the ratio, right? You spend, what is it, 20% of your money?
Yeah,
10% of your money on investing. And I was like, what if you invest 50%? What if you're super aggressive? What would that return be like? And now do the math.
Yeah.
All right, if I get, basically $1,000 worth of this stock, what's it going to return to? And the return's like $8,000. So it's like, do you want 800 or do you want $8,000?
Right.
You know what I mean?
By making that one decision.
By just making that one aggressive move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bitcoin last year, $3,800.
Right.
What was I doing?
Yeah.
What was I telling everybody to do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. True.
Toot that horn. And people are like, yo, thank you.
Yeah.
Good looking out. I bought, and we went from 3,800 up to, as of right now, $35,000.
That's what get in, guys. Investing is just get in, guys.
Bro, years from now, there's going to be little Vice docs that say how I turned a stimulus check into $1 billion.
I like that. Yeah.
Or into millions.
If you were ballsy enough to make the move.
If you were ballsy enough to make the move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is a big move. And a lot of people, because they've come to me personally, have talked to me about this. I'm very fortunate that I was able to move a really good amount, right? To see this right away. But just buy anything you can. I mean, dollar cost average it.
I mean, just start buying stuff. Get like
$25 a week to get it done, and just get in there. Just get in there.
Even $5 a week.
Yeah.
$5 a week. You spend. You go out to eat, go to nice restaurants. It's an $80, $100 night.
Yeah. I like to tell people even do the
spend 20 a month.
You know the Acorn, right? Do the Acorn.
Coin did it, right? That's the app. Coin did it.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about Acorn.
Yeah, so it works. It works as Acorn works, but it's crypto, right?
Really?
So
I'm about to get on that.
I'm about to get on it too. I'm halfway. I'm halfway registered.
Yeah, cut the check, Coin. Giving them the free play.
No, boo.
I'm kidding.
I think I had stopped at the point where it said like, basically you have to just confirm it and say that it's going to take over all your transactions.
Yeah.
But I want to see what it looks like on the credit card statement. Or is it going to say like Coin did it and the
I'd rather do it myself, right?
So I'm just trying to think like, what does that look like? And anyway.
But do that, guys.
Do that.
Yeah,
Acorn's app is a great way to get into stock investing in general. Just invest your spare change. And then you get another app like Robinhood.
Yeah.
And, Apple doubles down their share or whatever. And they're trading around $130. Like, buy one of those on Robinhood. Yeah. I think all these apps.
I hate Robinhood.
I just think apps like that make it really easy just to invest from our phone.
I'm going to be biased right now, man. 1,000%.
Sure.
Get Bitcoin. Don't go Apple.
Don't get
none of that.
I just say for like, if you're looking at stocks, you can
to get your feet wet.
Yeah, just to get your feet wet. If we're talking crypto and Bitcoin, get the Coinbase app, right? Or
that leads into what we want to talk about. How do you buy your Bitcoin?
So
give me a setup.
I've been buying through Coinbase for a little bit.
Okay.
I've switched over recently to BlockFi.
Cool.
Because who's going to let you store your coins there and also collect interest?
Right.
More interest than a bank is going to give you.
I like BlockFi.
I like BlockFi.
Yeah.
I like BlockFi Zach on Twitter. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to him.
Shout out to him.
He come on the show, friend of the show.
I think he said I don't know if it was his mother-in-law or someone, but he had posted something like, oh, I convinced someone to invest $200 a month.
Yeah.
And they just sent me this text, and it was like them thanking him and stuff.
It's insane, man.
Something like that.
It's insane.
Right?
It's really life-changing.
Like, yo.
Yeah, it's really life-changing.
Yo, I think there was a post that said up until this point, if you spent $1 on Bitcoin a day, you'd have, 36 grand or something.
Right.
Or like just the numbers.
Right.
Like if you spent just $1 a day, you'd get an insane return.
Yeah.
So
especially if you forget about it.
Absolutely.
Right, because if we go back to that scarcity object of the point is that the less and less there is to buy, the more expensive it is to get it.
Yeah.
So I do want people to listen and to understand that. Yes, you can make money off of this.
Right.
Yes, you can borrow off of it. Yes, you can do a lot of things. But the longer you hold it, the more valuable it comes. So if you're going to invest, you're going to invest for the long haul.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to invest in the short term.
Right.
Get it?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the light.
Cool. Yeah. So no, it's cool. So that's another thing that I want people to know, because I've also had the people that come up to me that actually, me personally as well, I'll give my personal experience, not to throw anybody out there. In 2017, when you put me back onto it over there, I jumped in and I was thinking about the money, right? So I wasn't thinking about holding it. And it's volatile, man. So as soon as I saw that first super dip, I was out of there. And I need people to understand that you're investing for the long run here. If you get caught in a bind, then you liquidate it. Cool. So there is an escape valve or whatever. But you definitely want to when you buy this, to think about putting it away for a long time.
Absolutely. I think with any investment, you shouldn't think like, don't play with mortgage money. Don't play with money that you really need. Don't play with your emergency fund. Right? Handle all that and then have some money that you can invest, right?
Yeah.
Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah.
Invest 10%.
10%.
Start there.
If you can't do 10, do 5.
Right? If you can't do 5, do a few, but just start and then come up with that plan of like, all right, this much month, I'm going to invest here and I'm going to invest there and I'm going to put it away and I'm going to set up my budget to the point where I'm not going to need that 3 months from now.
Right.
So when that dip comes, I'm not thinking, oh, snap, I got to get out because I'm going to lose this money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking, all right, the dip today, we went from 42 to 30.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my BlockFi count like,
dripping.
Could be worse. Right? Yeah. We're still 10 grand above all time high.
True. Yeah.
Right. So I'm trying to be like optimistic about it. Right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's like that loss isn't realized until you trade. Right. Until you cash out and go to USDC, that's not a realized loss. Tomorrow it could go back right back up.
Good point. Yeah.
So I try to think about it like that.
Hold on to it. Yeah.
And I think investing with money that you don't need for bills or mortgage.
Yeah.
Takes that pressure off of I need this money, I can't afford to lose it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the fact that if you leave it around, you're gonna waste it on stupid shit.
For sure.
Yeah, it does. Whether it's an extra serving of whatever Chinese food, right? Just listen, acorn it. Yeah, you spend.
Acorn it.
Yeah, you spend $4.50, put 50 in there. You good?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that works too. It's also a good point to let people know that there's such the trend of stacking sats.
Yeah.
Right. That's another misleading thing that in the previous bull runs, it was lacking because. You would come in and you would see the price of Bitcoin. Let's say at the time it was 19,000, right? And then you would be like, "Damn, I don't have $19,000 to buy a freaking coin." But then it seemed like everybody around you had coins, and it was like, "What am I doing wrong?"
That threw me off for a long time. Just in my own headspace, like I didn't think to Google it. Like, hey, can I get a fractional coin?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So yes,
like
guys, you guys can get fractional.
So you get fractional. You put $20 on that, and you'll see the percentage of what you're getting on that transaction.
Right.
But that is better than zero.
Yeah.
And a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, that's just going to grow.
It's going to grow. Right. Yeah. I gave my sister $20 for her birthday, and I think it's probably something like that in a few weeks. But yeah, guys, is money inflating right before your eyes, and it seems like it's fake, but it's not. It's just common sense. If you own a piece of something extremely rare, and it becomes rarer and rarer, then your piece is naturally just worth more money.
Yeah, the price goes up.
Yeah, because a lot of people wonder, like, I've actually been asked that, like, why is the price going up like that? What is it? You don't even own it. You don't even possess it. And it's like, actually, you do.
Yeah.
And not only do you do, but it's just the reason your price is going up is because you own a piece of something extremely rare. I like it. I like thinking about it that way. Like collecting trinkets.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, I guess what the older generation would do with gold, right? Just dig it.
Yeah. Save it up.
Super cool, man. It's really exciting stuff.
Yeah. So to go back in terms of buying, I'm using BlockFi.
Okay.
Dollar cost averaging.
Yeah, I'll get mine.
You can set it to monthly, weekly, daily. I've been doing daily lately.
Yeah.
Just to, what does that do to that dollar cost average? Small amounts, right?
Absolutely.
So it's just seamless and it does it automatically. So I just get the email receipts.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
So I don't even have to think about it.
Which is good too.
Absolutely. I don't like being glued to the investments.
Yeah.
Right. Having to watch it up and down.
You get more emotional that way.
Yeah, you get more emotional. So it's easy to just be like, all right, I'm investing on autopilot, and I don't care if Bitcoin goes down 10 years because I'm in it for the long run.
Yeah.
And every time I buy, I'm thinking 2025, 2030.
Yeah.
Right. You think this is rare now when the USA just printed 30% of their money?
Right.
You know what I mean? 5 years from now.
Get into this. Yeah. It's hard money. It's going to inflate it.
Jason Williams, Hard Money, the book you can't mess with.
You know
what I mean? Like, that's what he's talking with Peter Schiff about.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm my strategy is stacking sats. I do like the stacking sats. It's 100.
What is 1 cent worth in Bitcoin? Like, is that 1 sat or what's the correlation?
Yeah,
just pull that up.
Yeah, you could pull that up. I don't know because it always changes the denomination.
Per day,
Yeah, but 100 million sats equals 1 Bitcoin. Yeah, so like you were saying, you could just put 5, you could put $20, you could put whatever, and you're gonna buy sats. So usually you spend $5, you'll get like $5,000 in satoshis. Like you get 5,000 sats or whatever. You get more than that actually because I think the equivalency that they're trying to get is that every single US dollar should be worth 1,000 sats. Right now, every single US dollar is about 3,500 sats, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah.
1 USD equals
36, something like that.
34.
3,400 sats.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading this the wrong way. Oh yeah, $1 is 2,864 satoshis.
See, at one point you were able to get like 10,000 sats for $1, right? So it's getting closer to that 1,000 range.
That's tripled from whenever you saw that.
Right. So eventually it's going to get to the point where 1,000 sats are going to be a full $1, and then as it starts to denominate down, that'll be $1,000. That'll be so you can see this stack sats, guys. So the way I do it is for quick purchases of Bitcoin to do like the Acorn thing, Cash App. So I do Cash App for its convenience. Don't do PayPal, guys.
You set it up on Automate?
You can. I don't. I like to control it just for the hype of it.
Yeah, I still buy the dips.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I bought last night.
A really cool thing you could do because hey, listen, BlockFi, I know you're limited because of the old legacy systems, but you got to get your transfers in there faster. Like,
we got to figure that out.
Listen, when the dip happens, I can't rely on y'all, and that's a problem. But there's a way around this. Buy on Cash App, take the small hit on the fee, send it to your BlockFi account instantly.
See, I haven't even bought on
Cash App.
Which Cash App. Yeah, I haven't bought on there yet.
Yeah.
You can send it to the wallet address?
Check. That's why I said don't use PayPal, guys. Don't use Robinhood. They don't allow you to send to any wallet. You have to keep it on there and take it out as US dollar. So
people don't even comprehend that either.
So I'm explaining it. If you're going to go PayPal or you're going to go Robinhood, understand that you're investing just for US dollars. You want to gain and then Cash App. They're not going to let you send it. Cash App, they have limits, but they're really good limits, 2,000 a week, 10,000, something like that. You can set your Cash App to basically, it's its own wallet. So the Cash App generates a wallet. You can send Bitcoin to it, and then you can send Bitcoin out of it. So when, like today, there's a dip, I would buy my money on Cash App because it pulls from my bank account right away. And then from there, I would just send it to my BlockFi account, in the wallet, in the BlockFi account. But then what I like to do is, and people, so you can hear the flexibility is I like to send half to my BlockFi account and then half to my cold storage wallet. Right. Because Bitcoin is at a point right now where if you just leave it alone, BlockFi is for interest and flipping. But Bitcoin is rising so fast on its own that if you put it in the backyard, you're still gaining. Right.
Put $100,000 buried in the backyard.
Buried in the backyard. And what I mean by buried in the backyard, for those listening, is this we'll get into it in a different episode. But there's this thing called hardware wallets, and they're exactly what they sound like. They're devices that basically store. So
it's like a USB device.
Pretty much. Some of them, yeah.
Think of it like a flash drive.
Right. Shout out to Code Card. That's somewhere around here. But yeah, there's different devices that basically, they're the vaults. They set up these passwords. They set up these seed phrases for you. And what's really cool about these devices is they don't actually hold the money there. They hold the secrets that keep your money. Right. So the monies live on the blockchain all the time.
I think to the average person listening, I think this is super confusing.
Is it?
And hear me out, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little techie.
Yeah.
You're super techie.
Yeah.
And I feel a little intrigued.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think to the average person who doesn't know about tech, be like, what? Send it to a wallet? Where? What? Like,
yeah.
I think there's like so much tech. I think it might put some people off. Just
we're gonna get into it in a different episode.
For sure.
Yeah.
Break that down.
But think about the hardware wallet being digging money in the backyard, right? Think about a hot wallet being a debit card. And think about, pretty much that's the only thing you got. Those are the options. So you got a hot wallet, which means it's not as secure, but you can send and receive Bitcoin. And then you got the money that nobody wants to see, money in the backyard.
Yep.
And that's what the hardware wallet is. Those are the analogies that best describe that process.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more simple.
Yeah, for sure. But we're going to get into episodes where we talk about, hardware wallets and storing it, because what's the point of buying the Mona Lisa if you don't know where to put it? Yeah, and that's super important. And
even in the terms of gold, it's like, all right, well, how much gold could you stack to the point where, like,
you need a ball and a half.
I don't feel safe keeping it at my crib.
Right.
If I got $100,000 of gold, and like, how would $100,000 of gold fit in this room?
Right.
And what does that look like? And with Bitcoin, it's like, nah, I just keep it in cyberspace.
Yeah, pretty much. And I can recover it anywhere in the world, right? So I don't need to carry my vault. That's actually why I like Pomp when he brings that up, where gold is the analog. Shout out to Pomp. Yeah, you put me onto him, and awesome, informed, very knowledgeable guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he brings up the thing where it's like, gold is analog, Bitcoin is digital, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you think about VCRs, you think about 8-tracks, and the technology that's come past it is always 10x it. It's not like close, like, DVD and a VCR, the same thing. Not at all. Not even close.
Right.
So if you want to think about it in a different way, I like Pomp's example, which is like, that stuff is old. You like you said, it's a higher security risk. I can't just send Ben a gold bar. Doesn't work that way. And if I do, I got to incur.
I got friends preaching buy gold, buy gold. I'm going to pass it down to my kids, buy gold, buy gold. All right. The return on investment is minimal. But even just like, all right, buy gold. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, how easy can I purchase this? How long does it take to get to me?
Right.
And then how quickly can I liquidate it? And can I only liquidate it if I have to? I mean, you go to where do you go to liquidate local jewelry? Pawn shop?
I don't know.
A jeweler?
I don't know.
Like, who's the man on that?
And all across that board, the security risk of it all. How do you know you're not getting scammed? How do you know he's not going to mix it with some metal and give you some half-ass?
Right.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
So even from like just a liquidation standpoint, I really don't want to have $100,000 in gold stored up, at a bank or like on my own.
It's hard. So we got a 2.0 of that. And that's what Bitcoin comes
for sure.
Yeah. And what I really like about Bitcoin, for those that, think that they're just getting down another information rabbit hole, you don't need to know, you don't need trust. You don't need the person's social security. You don't need their bank account number. You don't need their address. You don't need anything to send anybody anything besides just a wallet address, which gets generated for you in most apps.
Think of it like an email address.
Yeah.
In a sense, right?
Yeah, with money.
But it has money.
Yeah, it's
the
easiest
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
The truest money too, because it's confirmed. It's not reprinted. It's not doubled. It's not made up. It's on the blockchain. It's confirmed that Ben is worth $50 and he can send $50. That's powerful technology, guys. Not only is it powerful technology, but like we've talked about this whole episode, it's a vehicle to make your money grow. And when you store energy and you store time, you're able to do a lot more things. You're not living check to check. And at the very worst, you can always pass it on, right? To, generational wealth or whatever. We're super excited to bring you guys more and more episodes. We're going to do one every week for you guys to try to get you guys to understand Bitcoin so you can make a better decision and basically ride this wave. This is a fun wave, man.
It's the gold rush, man.
It's the gold. I love that analogy.
The Industrial Revolution. What happened?
Right.
People got rich and the lower class became the middle class.
Right.
You want to go up one ring? Like,
you have the
this is the way to get there.
Yeah. And an easy way. And it's so fun going down this rabbit hole, too. It's not like...
Bruh, you watching Bitcoin go from 20 to 40 in 15 days?
Like 15 days. Insane.
Like, that's just, that's like watching the steel buildings in New York City go up.
True.
So
you don't get the opportunity to see it often.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah. And it's insane, guys. Please jump on. We're going to provide you guys as much information as possible. Ben, you got anything else to leave with people with?
No, looking forward to the next episode.
Cool, man. Thank you for coming on.
Glad to be on, man.
This is going to be super exciting. Guys,
get it.
We're going to talk to you soon. Look out for the next episode 3. Peace.
All opinions expressed by Jose and Ben or any of the guests on this show are solely their opinion and their opinion alone. Their opinions do not reflect the opinions of any other sponsors or other parties involved in the recording of this show. Do not treat any opinion expressed by Jose and Ben as a specific endorsement to make a particular investment or follow a particular strategy. Their expressions of their opinion on this show is purely for informational purposes. Enjoy the show. All opinions expressed by Jose and Ben or any of the guests on this show are solely their opinion and their opinion alone. Their opinions do not reflect the opinions of any of the sponsors or other parties involved in the recording of this show. Do not treat any opinion expressed by Jose and Ben as a specific endorsement to make a particular investment or follow a particular strategy. Their expressions of their opinion on this show is purely for informational purposes.